The Stanley Hotel, famously known for inspiring Stephen King's The Shining, is home to 142 rooms, each with its own haunted tales to tell. Yes, you heard that right. This massive, century-old hotel in the Colorado Rockies is a hotspot for supernatural events that tingle your spine. Story number 1. We had an interesting birthday celebration for my sister Patty at the Stanley Hotel, made famous by Stephen King's The Shining. Patty's pals, Connie and Donna, flew in from Madison to join us on this special day. My house in Boulder was our meeting spot before setting off with our suitcases and a spooky Ouija board. It was a crisp November afternoon, and it began to snow as we moved along the highway. I tried to temper expectations, assuring everyone that we probably wouldn't experience any paranormal occurrences. Patty simply responded that it would be fun to watch the night unfold. Upon reaching Estes Park, the sight of the Stanley Hotel with the Rocky Mountains in the backdrop and its reflection in the serene lake was breathtaking and eerie. We parked and entered the 100-year-old Victorian hotel. Other groups were also in the lobby, and some had a giggle at our Ouija board. We also found out that some Ghostbusters were present. At the front desk, Connie and Donna were allocated rooms in a wing with lesser ghost activity. However, Patty and I chose the notorious 4th floor, known for ghostly happenings. With our digital cameras at the ready, we went on an intriguing haunted ghost tour. We also took a tour of the notorious Room 217, but noticed nothing strange. After a satisfying tour, we dressed up for dinner, where we kept an ear out for the piano, which was said to play by itself. We also chatted with some of the Ghostbusters on our floor, who dismissed our ghost sightings as sleep paralysis or electrical wiring. We decided to use the Ouija board in the hallway. Right when we were about to end the session, we felt a cold breeze and saw a door at the end of the hallway open and close on its own. This spooked Patty's friends, who decided to call it a night. Later that night, I was disturbed by the sounds of children running and screaming, and by a man who appeared to float over my bed. The next morning, I found my coat had been tampered with. Patty had also heard the children running, making the experience creepier. Connie and Donna, on the other hand, had a peaceful sleep. The blonde we met the previous evening also heard the ghostly children for the first time since her arrival. At checkout, I complained about the noise from what I thought was the Ghostbusters above us, only to be told there was no room above us. Overall, it was an unforgettable experience to remember Patty's birthday. 2 decades back, my ex-supervisor and I couldn't get enough of the intriguing history of the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park. It's a noteworthy landmark in Colorado, and holds a special place in the hearts of ghost-chasing enthusiasts worldwide. The renowned author Stephen King is known to have stayed in the notorious Room 217 while writing The Shining, which is said to have been inspired by his experiences there. This has led to many spooky whispers and rumors surrounding the hotel, drawing people from far and wide who are eager to witness the unexplained mysteries themselves. In the autumn of 2002, in an unexpected turn of events, most rooms in the hotel were empty on the eve of Halloween, which fell on a weekday. My former boss and I, who had a few acquaintances there, proposed an idea to them. Could we spend the night not to sleep, but to have free reign of the hotel and broadcast live all night long? They accepted our proposal. The anticipation was palpable as we settled into Room 217, prepped for the exciting night ahead. We were curious. What would we witness? What sounds would we hear? We had heard tales of childish whispers in the old basement tunnel, which was probably once used for service or as a pathway for F.O. Stanley between the buildings. There were also stories of Wyndham Quinn, the Earl of Dunraven, eerily materializing in Room 401 at ungodly hours, the mysterious aroma of cigar smoke in the same room, and jewelry mysteriously shifting places overnight. There was a particularly spooky account of a woman fainting in the lobby after recognizing the face of the Earl from a painting, believing she had seen him in her room the night prior. We'd come across stories of unexplainable noises from the old bell tower and the eeriness of the renovated carriage house, which was avoided at night due to strange sounds and feelings experienced by people. We were thrilled at the prospect of documenting and experiencing all of this live, on air. It would have been spectacular if we had caught some of these strange phenomena on camera or recorded them while broadcasting in the wee hours of the morning. But guess what eventually happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was no unusual sighting or sound except an unplanned alarm clock going off. We roamed around the entire hotel, unlocking every possible door leading to alleged haunted areas, but found nothing unusual. To this day, I'm not sure whether I believe in the existence of ghosts, or if the Stanley Hotel is indeed haunted. Some people claim it is, and I have no reason to disbelieve them. I suppose it's a matter of perspective. To see something is to believe it. Or perhaps in my case, it's the contrary because I didn't witness anything out of the ordinary. Story number 3. Way back in 1994, we made a reservation at the Stanley Hotel, a notably beautiful structure. We were given a room with a distinct standout feature, a circular window in the bathroom. This window was clearly visible in the left corner of a picture of the hotel. Now, as a child, I had a dear companion, my baby doll, whom I carried with me practically everywhere I went. When we had to check out and fly back home, I realized that my beloved doll was not with me. We contacted the hotel staff to check for her in our room, but they initially reported they couldn't find her. Interestingly enough, the doll was later discovered in a housekeeping closet, and the staff claimed that they hadn't moved her. Sure, this made sense if you listened to a narrative from a housekeeper, but there's still a part of me that's curious. My mother has this habit, like a ritual. Before we leave any hotel room, she meticulously checks all around to ensure we haven't left anything behind. Given this, it was pretty bizarre how my doll ended up in that closet. Now, both my mom and I are open to the idea of the supernatural, but we're not the type to believe everything at face value. I'm certain she wouldn't have simply concluded that the alleged spirits haunting the hotel were responsible for this. That being said, I have decided that one day in the future, I'll revisit the hotel as an adult, maintaining a skeptical stance. I reckon it'll be an interesting experience digging into this wonderful establishment's mysterious, possibly paranormal past. Story number 4. Heads up, this is a bit of a long read, but I assure you it's an enthralling tale. During summer, my girlfriend and I decided to tick off a stay at the Stanley Hotel from our bucket list. Just so you know, supposedly, every room on the 4th floor where we lodged for 4 nights is haunted. As we began our adventure, eerie experiences seemed to occur immediately. On our first elevator ride, we both heard a soft whisper. Later, after a delightful night at a local bar called the Wheel Bar, we returned to the hotel and I snapped a few photos of the spectacularly lit lobby. I discovered something peculiar in one image, something somewhat resembling a child. During our stay, we experienced various odd occurrences, such as my phone vibrating on my stomach without any notification, my girlfriend feeling a hand on her back after showering, and the constant sound of footsteps in the attic above our room throughout the night. On one of the nights, we met another couple who were also hunting for paranormal signs. Interestingly enough, they were staying in room 217, the very room that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining. We had a friendly interaction with them, which led to an EVP session in their room where an unidentified voice answered our question with a no. We also had an EMF detector with us, a tool provided by the hotel for those staying on the 4th floor. We asked it questions, receiving affirmative responses when we inquired if we were speaking to a child, specifically a little girl. When asked if she liked games, the meter went crazy, peaking when I asked about the game of tag, and bolting down the hallway. The moment I took off, according to my girlfriend and other onlookers, the meter readings dropped dramatically, and all activity ceased. Here are the links to the pictures of the lobby. One of them bears an unusual anomaly. I've brightened them and shared screenshots for better visibility. Story number 5. Some guests have referenced room 401 as the eeriest room in the entire hotel, with reports of an unwelcoming spectral gentleman inhabiting it. A handful of women have reported some unsettling instances where they've felt as though they were being touched in an inappropriate manner by a mysterious entity, particularly when they stood within the room's closet. Similarly, an intriguing tale comes from a gentleman who swears to witness his marriage band mysteriously glide off the bathroom countertop and tumble down into the sink drain inexplicably. Story number 6. Moving on to room 428. Guests have reported sightings of a cowboy's ghost appearing to tower over them as they slumber, or just ominously stand lurking in the corner. Interestingly, there are no rooms directly above this one, yet through the years, there have been numerous accounts of inexplicable phenomena, like the sound of furniture being shuffled or footsteps echoing from the ceiling overhead. The Stanley Hotel, paranormal activities aside, is a magnificent, intriguing location to visit. However, its reputation for the uncanny has drawn in curious guests from all across the globe to potentially experience a haunting incident that could be both profound and mystifying in nature. Story number 7. Several years back, I found myself as a guest at a wedding hosted on the premises where I was staying. The main hotel didn't stir up any unusual activity, but the reception building was a totally different story. It seemed to teem with supernatural activity. During our exploration of the building, a fellow groomsman and I encountered what I can only describe as unusual, peculiarly cold spots, and distinct sounds of footsteps aligned to our own, though we were the only ones around. However, the most spine-chilling moment came just moments before the service was about to start. Accompanied by the groom's father, we made a quick stop at the restroom, which was also housed within the reception building. As we took our places a distance apart at the urinals, we were the only living beings present, or so we thought. Out of the blue, one of the faucets behind us burst into action with water gushing out. Startled, we exchanged glances, only to turn back around and witness the faucets on the second sink joining in the inexplicable act. Thankfully, the groom's father had a good sense of humor and chalked it up to the spirit of a mischievous child. Needless to say, we were glad to leave that building after the wedding concluded. One of the most famous hauntings at the Stanley Hotel is that of Elizabeth Wilson, a former head housekeeper who worked at the hotel in the early 1900s. She was known for her strict demeanor and always wore a long blue dress to signify her position. Guests have reported seeing an apparition wearing a long blue dress wandering around the main staircase in the concert hall. Some have even claimed to feel her presence and hear her voice, scolding them for being too loud or messing up the rooms. One couple even reported waking up in the middle of the night to find a woman in a long blue dress standing at the foot of their bed, only for her to disappear before their eyes. They later discovered that their room was once Elizabeth Wilson's office, adding to the creepy factor of the experience. One day, while exploring the hotel, we stumbled upon a portrait of Elizabeth Wilson and were surprised to see that it completely matched the description given by previous guests. Story number 9. Set in Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel is a historical gem built back in 1908 by its namesake, Freeland Oscar Stanley. Visitors often flock to the Stanley Hotel for its guided tours, which includes an intriguing night tour. However, this particular after-dark excursion isn't open to children, given the hotel's renowned haunted reputation. One of the most talked about hotspots within the hotel is room 217. This room is particularly infamous for some alleged paranormal activity, with stories swirling around about a ghost named Mrs. Elizabeth Wilson, who is said to continue her care for guests from beyond the grave. A documentary team, spearheaded by Shelby Doria, had made a trip to the hotel to gather evidence of these alleged supernatural occurrences. The crew found themselves encountering various odd experiences, from doors mysteriously shaking to the inexplicable movement of objects. These disturbing encounters led them to seriously entertain the idea that the Stanley Hotel is truly haunted. While there was initially some disbelief within the team, each member eventually couldn't help but remain open to the existence of spectral entities, especially intrigued by the eerie experiences they had during their stay. So that's a wrap. If you liked these true haunted stories from the Stanley Hotel, subscribe to the channel and like this video. Let us know in the comments if you have ever visited the Stanley Hotel and had any paranormal experiences.